Now that's their testimony. In other words, imagine hearing the Lord say, I never knew you. And the person, now, Lord, I was religious, I worship, I had my church home, I had my prayer life, I had my Bible study life, I had all of that going on, and you say you never knew me? Lord, what's the problem? Well, to help understand that, if you back up in this text and look at verse 13, he says, enter by the narrow gate. Wide is the gate and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go by it. He's not talking about just living. He's talking about religious expectation.
That's right.
He says, because narrow is the gate and difficult is the way which leads to life, and there are few who find it. Thank you, my brother. So if you look at it, you have, Jesus said there's a problem. If you hear the wrong thing, obey the wrong thing, worship in the wrong thing, practice the wrong thing, then guess what? We don't know each other.
That's right.
You don't know me, and I don't know you. And when you get to this point, it's a little bit late. And so he says, I never knew you. A person might say, you know, I just don't see how that's possible that you not know me, because when I listen to what all my friends say, they say I was a fine Christian person. When I listen to what my relatives say, they said I was a fine Christian person. And when I listen to my neighbor, they said I was a fine Christian person, because they saw me going somewhere to church every Sunday. Yeah. When I listened to the folks on my job, they said I was a fine Christian person, because they saw me pray for my lunch and before I had my lunch, and they saw me carry a Bible into work when I came to work. And when I look at what all the rest of those folk were telling me, they said I was a fine Christian person, and I believe myself to be a fine Christian person. Well, when it comes down to judgment, your friends do not make the judgment. They don't call it. They're not the judge. Your relatives are not the judge. Your boss is not the judge. Your neighbors are not the judge. Your family members are not the judge. Not even you are the judge of where you stand with God. God is the judge of where you stand with God. It is God who will say, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou have been faithful over a few things. I'll make you rulers over many. Not you. It will be God. So it's important that God knows you now. And you know one thing about the truth.